By making contact with our media, journalist organisations, and because there is a linkage with the forthcoming visit of Trump, it will tick all their boxes or whatever metaphor you want. I think that's really important, and if we're doing something like a new initiative to actually get the local media in to report it, I think it's important.
Yeah, on the social media stuff, I do the sort of back office stuff for Facebook, and now we're on Twitter.
What's your name?
Sorry, I'm Mark Krantz. Sorry, it is really important, I think, like the brother said. But what I want to say is, nobody's to leave the room today without having a photograph of yourself, holding up one of these placards, use your vote to stop fascist Tommy Robinson. And then you can just put that, if you're on Facebook, on your page or on your Twitter site or whatever, or, leave it with me and we'll start putting them up. Because if people keep seeing this message, use your vote to stop the fascist Tommy Robinson, then someone has a conversation. Oh yeah, I get it now. So it really does, it does matter. We did a little Twitter video of people in Salford last Sunday. Some of them have been seen 15,000 times, in 4 or 5 days. So it's got a lot of purchase, and I just wanted to echo that.
And I do want to focus on that. People will do some amazing things. We never hear about it because no one's actually taken a picture or taken a video and put it on social media. And although I think nothing comes before the actual activity, that's absolutely key. It is important to get the word out because it gives lots of other people who haven't maybe got the confidence to go out and do the same thing, like leaflet their street or whatever it is you're doing in the train station. Seeing somebody else do it, and people think I can do that as well. So it is important.
In regards to the social media, if we can get anyone else, even just anyone you follow, or it doesn't have to be political, anyone else you follow or on social media or anything else like that, just to give us a quick shout out or anything like that. Someone that's a streamer at the time who's got a comment section, just say, will you condemn this fascist knobhead who's doing these things? Even just a shout out with that, with someone who's got more influence than you. Who the fuck on social media? My friends are going to see it. Great, this is good stuff. If you get someone else large who's got more of a following, whether they are openly political usually or not, to say, this guy's a knobhead, definitely, could we get him out? Can we make sure he doesn't get in? That's another large element of reach. So especially on the platforms that are really overtaken by fascists, YouTube and Twitter, looking at you.
Okay, anything else?
Yeah, just a small thing to add, which I could do already before I attended this meeting, is maybe document your way, not in detail here, 20 minutes before the meeting, promote it to your friends, and just make it somewhere inviting, very movement-like, and take a photo of this. I've already done it, and just aggressively send it to your friends. A little addition, if you see a glass of milk next to a username on Twitter, that's going to be a fascist, because it represents whiteness. It is a code for them. It was quite new for me. I read about it 2 years ago. It was a thing 2 years ago, a year ago.
They've got a few different offers.
Yeah, just a small thing really, but I've got stuff like saying I'm from Liverpool. Can you do this on the 25th or whatever? And people say, oh no, I can't. So I think there's a spin back of that. So people, what days are you doing? Rather than saying, well, I can't just do that day. So, and we're not asking people to book coaches or halls or that money. It's fairly easy just to give out leaflets. So I think people themselves can take some initiative and say, so well, you can't do Wednesday, what other day are you going to do then? So.
Yeah, two things. First of all, in addition to the individual photos, can we get a photo behind the banner, the lovely new banner? The other thing is, could we perhaps get a Facebook profile picture frame that people can just update their profile picture saying, I'm using my vote against Tommy Robinson on the 23rd.
Okay. Has anyone got anything else?
Just one item. Just what you were just saying then. I remember the night when Griffin got thrown out, and they went to the Blackburn polling station, and there was a lot of Asian people going to the polling stations, like they were queuing up to vote, and the television asked them, what are you doing here? Why are you coming to vote? And they said, we're coming out to vote against Nick Griffin as it was, Yaxley Lennon this time round, obviously, So it's important that we find a way of getting the Muslim communities and other Asian communities to mobilise themselves and understand the importance of getting the vote in.
Is he going to call himself Tommy Robinson on the voting paper?
Yes.
Do we have to refer to him as Tommy Robinson?
You can refer to him in any way.
Can I urge that we say don't vote for Tommy Robinson, because the ballot paper will have the list of the parties in alphabetical order: Change UK, Conservatives, Labour, Lib Dems, Brexit Party, UKIP, and all the rest. And then at the bottom, it will say Tommy Robinson. His name is on the ballot paper.
Yeah.
No other individual's name is.
Yeah.
And if you think all these parties have let us down, that's the name.
So I could go on the same ballot form called Sir Trump-a-lot, for example.
Candidates can nominate what they want to be referred to on the ballot. He's nominated his name, and it will say Tommy Robinson.
That's ethnocentric, isn't it?
And it is worth saying, somebody mentioned the mosque and stuff, so the Muslim Council of Britain are absolutely behind this campaign, and they're going to put out a call to all the mosques in the northwest to raise it as an issue from inside the mosque. But it is going to be very important that activists leaflet those mosques, because this is a captive audience. Let's be quite honest. We talked about Tommy Robinson, how he wants to attack so many groups in society, but let's be very clear. His key target is the Muslim community. We are the thing that opens the doors to then attacks on other communities. If we can normalise the attack on Muslims, it's not so far after normalising the attacks on other communities. So I do believe that's an absolute captive audience. Fridays, and we talk a lot about going to the Friday prayers because that's where people congregate. But we are coming up to Ramadan. It starts in the next couple of days. So it's not going to be just Fridays. Every evening there will be people in the local mosque. So whether you go and leaflet the mosque or you go and leaflet even the cars parked in the car park, this is a way about getting the word out. So I just want to make a point of that. Now, I think we've kind of covered this kind of area, and I do want to go on to the final item on the agenda. So it is that we've talked already actually that Donald Trump is coming to Britain for a...
David, before you do that, can someone just run through what we're going to be doing on the 18th and 19th?
Oh, sorry. So we should have said, so at the last meeting, we had agreed that it was going to be the regional day of action on the 18th and 19th. So we're asking people to come into the key areas, so Manchester, Liverpool, Carlisle, and do mass leafleting. So we're going to have areas where people can come together, pick up the leaflets and be sent to other areas. And we're also going to have people coming from outside the region. It's very important to say this. This is how important this campaign is. We are going to get help from outside, but we do have to recognise that the region is huge. And actually, it's great that we've got the people out here today, but we need to bring in the mass numbers. So each of us needs to go away and think about who else we can bring, who else we can pass a message on to for them to do things as well. And they don't necessarily have to come to a particular area at that time. If they think, well, on that day I'm going to go with my friends and go leaflet here, fair enough, we're not going to stop anybody. Everybody here is able to do what they can when they can. But those two are the 2 days, so we will have people coming from outside the area. So we're going to have leafleting sessions, and then we're going to have a rally back here that day. So it's on the schedule. It's worth saying also, so that's a weekend, the 18th and 19th, but we've also had an agreement and full support from the trade union movement in the region on the 16th and 17th. They're going to do 2 days of action in the workplace. So if you're a trade unionist, if you're a worker in a workplace, that is a date that you can have complete confidence to go into work, talk about anti-racism stuff, give out leaflets, maybe do a stall, do selfies, generate interest that will help then be to build the 2 days of action on the weekend. So those are just key areas. Now I do need to absolutely focus on this. Those are not the only days we're doing things. We will be doing stalls every weekend running up to, and we've only got 3 weekends, so it's 3 Saturdays we're asking people to come out. In Manchester it's going to be 2 p.m. in the centre of Manchester. What time are Liverpool doing
11 o'clock.
11 o'clock in Liverpool, and I know there'll be other comrades here and brothers and sisters have talked about there will be other events happening. We want people to come together for those events but also do other things. I know obviously the train station was leafleted today. I know it's happening again on Wednesday, isn't it? So
Wednesday at 5 o'clock.
Yeah, so those dates are in the diary. If anybody wants to do anything else, for instance, what you said, Sue, let us know. We'll help create Facebook events. We'll share it. It's very important to say this. If you have an idea of what you want to do, you're not on your own. There are people that will do things with you. Sometimes it's just a case of saying, let's do this. Oh, well, we'll come along. Because it's that initial thing, people don't want to do stuff. So those are the key things. But please, just keep sending us stuff about what you want to do, and we'll add it to the diary, we'll add it to social media. Lots of people have said that today. The importance of social media, we will absolutely add it on social media. And it's important we do this, because every time it gives confidence to our side, let's be very clear, but it also makes a clear message to the likes of Tommy Robinson that actually there are no no-go areas for anti-racists. This is our region, this is our city, these are our cities and our regions, and we are far bigger than him in his support. And he can turn up like he was in Warrington with the big screen. Actually, there was a handful of them, and that's all they're able to do, walk round or drive around with this screen. We have the benefit and the advantage of mass numbers. We just need to turn that into action. So I just want to make a point of saying that. So there are lots of stuff in the pack. There are leaflets at the back. We are going to wrap up short, but I think it is really important to we've talked about Tommy Robinson. I think we just need to focus a little more, because we don't want to build for the demonstration for the election on the 23rd and then start talking about the visit that comes so soon afterwards. So obviously we want to be part of that. So Stand Up to Racism, we've talked to the council, and we want to do similar to what we did last year, which was have a demonstration in Manchester. Obviously there will be coaches going to London, but I appreciate that it is a weekday, so not everybody can be involved in that. So in Manchester there will be a demonstration jointly with Stand Up to Racism and the council. It will be in Albert Square outside the main town hall building, and obviously we want to just open that out to people and say, well, what do you think? We're going to talk to the unions, but I know there's unions in this room today, so if anybody would like to say what they think about that, whether they think it's a good idea.
I'm just going to make one request.
Yes.
Having been on the big Stop Trump one the previous time, can we not follow the example of Extinction Rebellion in London and in Manchester, and not just stand in a square and listen to people speak and then disappear? Why not sit down, mass, non-violent, direct action, and say we're not shifting from Albert Square until that shit has left the country?
Well, can I just say, thanks for the contribution. I Stand Up to Racism, we're not going to stop anyone from doing activity to raise awareness of that day. But we wanted to have a focal point alongside the council and make this a big thing that will be covered in the media. But if other actions flow from that event, I'm not going to be up there getting upset. People remember only a couple of years ago when Grenfell happened and we had that impromptu march across the city. People did just decide to sit down, and quite rightly we had never mind having a minute's silence, we had a silent protest where we all sat on the tram tracks and just made a point of disrupting the city. And I'm not here to say, this is the only activity, but I just wanted to open this up, that this is a discussion taking place, and we wanted to see what the people in the room felt and whether they thought this was a good idea.
Yeah, I want to, because I'm a bit confused about some of it, but basically we went to the Extinction Rebellion on Monday, and they were the Morecambe Bay Rebels to call a joint anti-Trump protest with Stand Up to Racism. But also, I was in touch with, we've already had one inquiry about transport from a teacher, surprisingly, who doesn't just happen to work on a Tuesday. We thought we do organise coaches all the time to Stand Up to Racism down I was in London, but we felt financially there was no way we were going to fill a coach on June the 4th. But I have been in touch with Tina Rothery from the Lancashire Nanas. He's speaking at our May Day tomorrow, and we have had a kind of consistent, an inconsistent relationship, but she does come to my May Day every year. So I've contacted them because I noticed that they've been taking coaches to the Stanford 15 and also to the Extinction Rebellion in London. And I just asked if we can go in with them. They have also said, I'm going to talk to them tomorrow, because we could then co-fund it with union money. But they also mentioned that they were in touch with Manchester Extinction Rebellion. I don't know if anybody is here, and that the Manchester groups might also be involved. So I don't know if I should kind of go ahead with them, trying to see if we can get transport from across the. Do you see what I mean? It might be that we could have a Lancaster Preston coach, a Manchester, or whatever.